This video is brought to you by the Research School of Chemistry at the Australian National University. In this experiment, we will be using photospectrometry to analyze the reaction kinetics of crystal violet with 3 concentrations of sodium hydroxide solution. This data can then be used to find the rate constant for this reaction. Let's prepare our first solution. Pour out some of the crystal violet solution into a small beaker and measure out 10 ml with a small measuring cylinder. Top it up with a pasta pipette and then transfer to a large measuring cylinder. Top it up with water to 50 ml. Repeat this dilution process for 5 ml of 0.1 molar sodium hydroxide solution. On the spectrophotometer, press the 1 button to select the photometric mode, and then the wavelength button to change the analyzed wavelength to 590 nanometers. Now we need to zero the reading. Use a pasta pipette to fill one of the cuvettes with distilled water, being careful not to scratch the sides. Fill it to about 3/4 full, and carefully pick it up on the ridged edges to avoid smudging the cell walls. Place the cuvette into the spectrophotometer so that the light can pass through the smooth walls. Close the lid and press the auto zero button to zero the absorbance reading. Now we're ready to do our experiment. Pour both the sodium hydroxide and crystal violet solutions into one 250 ml conical flask and immediately start the timer. Swirl to mix and stick in your digital thermometer to get the initial temperature. While you're waiting for the reading to stabilize, use a pasta pipette to fill a cuvette with this solution, and then place it in the spectrophotometer. Record the absorbance reading at 3-minute intervals for a total of 8 readings. When you're done, remove the cuvette and tip out the sample into a waste beaker. Rinse the cuvette with distilled water, and then dry by wrapping a boiling stick in a Kimtech wipe and gently wiping the insides. Do not try to use acetone to dry it, as this can melt the plastic. Repeat this whole process 2 more times using initial measurements of 10 ml and 15 ml of 0.1 molar sodium hydroxide with the same amount of crystal violet. Use these measurements to determine the rate constant of the reaction in your lab report. Remember to remove the cuvette from the machine when you're done and dispose of your waste in the correct waste container.